Right.
Trim looks good, by the way.
Hey,
Decent trim on you.
I did it yesterday.
Yeah, it's nice.
No, man. Times are hard. Warren needs one.
Did you do that yourself?
Yeah. Do one of them.
Solid, though, isn't it? That's really good. That's with decent clippers.
Yeah, I've got some. I haven't got detailers, but I've got.
Yeah. I have.
All right.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Right. Joined here by my guy Nathan Hopkinson.
Hello.
And Warren, obviously.
Mm.
We're just going to talk about your transition from football through to your very successful modelling career at the moment.
Yeah.
At the start of each episode, we do a random question generator. So just to get the convo rolling,
right.
We'll just, anything random, could be anything. We'll just have a chat about it before we head into some of the topics today.
Nice.
What is it?
This is a good one, actually. So we'll go to you first. Go to you first, Nath, and then we'll come back around to me and D.
All right,
so what did you like or dislike about where you grew up?
It's a weird one. I kind of I moved quite a bit when I was younger, so there's a few different places. I'd probably say so. I was born in Salford originally. I lived there from when I was born until I was like 8. That I think was amazing. It was a really, really good place to kind of start off. It wasn't the best area, but everyone was kind of so like social. It was like quite close knit and stuff. So I think the best thing would probably be that socially, as a 7-year-old, I had a pretty decent time. Everyone was dead nice and up for probably more so just kicking the ball around, to be honest.
Northerners for you. Dead friendly.
Yeah. It was kind of close to. So United used to train sometimes, literally, where it backs up from my house.
Yeah.
It was on Littleton Road. They used to train just down the road. So it kind of really gave me a lot of inspiration to like obviously try and attempt to be a professional footballer.
You had a good go, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't do too bad. Worst thing. It's an hard one. I couldn't really. I'd say, well, from there I moved to I moved to Bolton, which is completely different kind of area. Seemed like a million miles away from home for me.
Yeah.
Even though obviously now as an adult it's kind of just a little drive away, but I felt kind of a bit out of place. I wasn't with all the mates that I grew up with. I was nowhere near like any of my schoolmates, so I'd probably say it was that. That's probably the worst part, even though it's not too bad. I kind of adapted and made friends near where I lived. But that probably.
What about you, Was? What was it like in the
Yeah, so I grew up in Pencourt, which is like on top of the hill.
Oh yeah.
Pencourt.
We know Pencourt.
On top of the hill, above Stoke. And I grew up in a cul-de-sac, terrace cul-de-sac, and at the bottom was where everyone had the greenhouses, and at the top of the road was where everyone went to where the local pub was. But all I remember is when I stepped out my door, if I looked above the greenhouses, because we're on a hill, you could see the Britannia Stadium, or Bet365 now. So obviously as a Stoke fan, that was good. Used to go there every Saturday or every Tuesday whenever the games were. It was like a nice little area, but I was never allowed out of my house. So like I'd play in the garden, never allowed to go out of the house. My mum and dad were pretty strict on that. Go to school, do my work.
My mum
Go
could be a little bit like that in Salford, just because it can be kind of rough in certain areas. So I wasn't allowed out my street.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I
Maybe the
suppose it's got to be done sometimes, isn't it? But
it's pretty much the same. But we used to play in the back alleys. And I used to actually go down to my nan's with my cousin. So my cousin was pretty much brought up by my nan, and we used to play in the old, cobbled paths, alleyways in the back with where everyone puts like the horrible bins or like grimy backways. And we used to play football with the old flyaway balls as like 4, 5, 6-year-old kids just sliding on alleyways, like coming back.
No fair back then, is there really?
No knees either.
Yes,
no knees.
That was pretty much what I used to do. Obviously, all out of school curriculum, which like swimming, football. That's probably the best thing. The worst thing about where, I enjoyed my childhood, so I can't say there was anything that was bad.
The accent.
What accent? Yeah, I used to go on holiday all the time, so I can't complain about anything. So yeah, pretty much a pretty good upbringing. So I'm not going to complain about that.
Dad's got a gun to your head, hasn't he?
I know, yeah.
No,
Is that right on the fence there?
Yeah. I guess that's a good point. I guess my dad being away when he was playing football rather than coming to my games. I guess that, but I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
What about you?
The best. I'm from a little town, Crewe, and I went to school in Nantwich. So I lived between Crewe and Nantwich. I was a bit like Nathan, like moved about a bit. So I was been all over. I think the best thing was probably it's not massively crime ridden. Crewe more so than Nantwich, but where I used to knock about, I never really got into any trouble. There wasn't anything to get wrapped up in. I was a bit different. I just had free reign. I was just all over the gaff on the bus, up between Crewe and Nantwich, playing footy all the time. Worst thing for me, probably like culturally a bit. Like I'm from is a massive white community. So for me growing up, it was just mad. It was I'd walk through town and there'd just be not even just black people, just any other ethnic minority. It was just crazy.
It wasn't very multicultural.
No, that's it. And it's just mad. It was.
Did you experience any racism or anything because of that? Or, did you?
Yeah, I think, and I don't think I've never met anyone who hasn't from an ethnic minority. But yeah, there was. It's sort of black and white. Excuse the pun, but it's just you stick out like a sore thumb sort of thing. So culturally, that probably one of the worst things was just having no sort of other influence, which is something I try and sort of rectify for my 2 little boys now. Is try and make sure that they've got a little bit.
Get a good mix around them.
That's it, yeah, man. Give them some rice and peas and that, and just.
You know what I thought of actually, looking back, what I disliked, or what one thing that I shouldn't have done, which was probably the funniest thing looking back on it now, but I've never shit myself so much. And it was I got into trouble with my mum and dad one day, and but can everyone remember the Pokemon cards, or was it Yu-Gi-Oh? I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh yeah, Darius knows all about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, loves it.
Very many a night in my scholar with the boys playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, mate. I used to just sit there, just collecting them. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't do anything with it. But
I did the same.
Just had cards that thick of cards.
Yeah, and they had some shiny ones.
Shiny ones like blue-eyed white dragon. I just remember that one.
Oh boy.
I remember. I think I was in year 4 or 5 of primary school. So there was just smiling, but he was 16, 17 when he was playing with them. I was about.
I know. Yeah. He was a little boy.
There's no age limit on Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
This guy, fully grown man, playing playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like 7 or 8, I must have been, and so there was this guy in my primary school who had one eye. So he had a glass eye, and he had the best card. So I basically, he put it in his tray where he used to keep all like your homework and all that. So I nicked a pack of a Yu-Gi-Oh. Put it with mine, and I just remember my mum and dad finding out, and I know that so much. I had to go to Tesco to buy him a brand new pack, give him all of my cards. Oh, mate.
I hope you learned your
lesson. I thought I was going to get arrested. I think
not very nice, though, is it?
No, I remember sitting in the front room, looking out the window while we're having dinner, waiting for the police car to turn up.
What a big battering ram in
a big learning lesson that was.
Right. All right. Little bit of background on us and where we grew up. Let's go move on. I've got my notepad with my very questionable handwriting. Let's start at the beginning, Nate. You talked about your pursuit of a football career. Talk us through that. So obviously me and you, our background is we met at Stoke. So I think we played together maybe 3 or 4 years, from maybe under 15s to 18s. But what was...
Probably not many games, but yeah.
I was going to say
I was injured for the most part.
That's it. So talk to us about your whole process coming up through where you started, where you finished up.
Probably started at the Cliff. I don't know if you've heard of the Cliff. It's where United used to train, like back in the day. That was.
They still run the pre-academy there, though, don't they?
I think they. I don't know actually. Maybe like the young lads.
Yeah, the little thing to do.
Like 6-year-olds kind of thing. That I think they still kind of train there.
I remember going there as an 8-year-old, 7 or 8-year-old. You have United, Stoke, and someone else. I think Everton.
They used to do loads of like little tournaments, didn't they, for kids?
We had like the development, and I remember walking out to the Champions League music.
Yeah,
it was absolutely nuts.
It is the best. So I started there probably from the age of about 6. Obviously wasn't playing for a team at that point. I think it was maybe once every Saturday, maybe. Went there in the mornings. A little group of us would obviously train together, do different types of drills and stuff. But it was mainly just about having fun at that age, which is great. And from there, I'd imagine if I would have carried on doing that, I would have I think the next step from there would have been to maybe at least have a chance at being signed for United or something like that. But I went to they were similar kind of thing at JJB Soccer Dome. Which have you been?
Is that behind Trafford?
It's just next to the Trafford Centre. Yeah, I don't know what it's called now.
Played there.
Obviously, it won't be JJB.
It's the DW now or something like that.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Me up there once.
You what?
I played fives with Ravel Morrison there, and I've never.
Oh yeah.
I was with Kurt actually. I've never felt like not kicked a ball in my life before. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can imagine. I went to JJB Soccer Dome, did a similar kind of thing, like training Saturday morning, stuff like that. I think the first team I played for was around, how old was I now? Must have been 9. That was Marauders, in like the Berry League.
Saying like
have you heard of it?
No, mate.
Marauders. No.
What, Berry Marauders?
So it's called Marauders. It's just a big kind of club, and then obviously they have their own little teams. It's a club in Bury, and then we just play against all the other teams around Bury. Because I always went to school in Bury. I didn't always live there, but I always went to school in Bury. So the lads that I was friends with in school, they played for Marauders, so I obviously just wanted to play with my mates.
Yeah.
So yes, I joined that. I think my mum might have emailed them for me initially, to obviously see how I would go about joining. Went down, joined, played with them from probably 9 till about, I'm trying to think when I started, probably 9 till about 12. I think at the age of 11, I joined a Sunday team, so I was playing Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a kid, you can do that. That would finish me if I did that now. Jesus. So yeah, I kind of felt like I needed to take a little step up if I wanted to be able to join an academy one day or whatever. So I think at the point where I joined the Sunday team, that kind of, in my head, doubled my chances of being able to get scouted. It was a better team in a much better league, and I played a season with them. It was called Walshaw Sports. I played a season with them, and then I got scouted by Man City.
City.
Turned up in a full United kit, which probably, I mean, it I don't know how my mum let me do that, to be honest.
I was going to say.
But we were both big United fans. Wow. Thinking back now, I don't know what I know it's bold, isn't it? Literally, I remember I turned up in full United kit, age of 12, and the head scout literally just pulled me aside. First thing he said was, I just want to get it straight, like, you can never, ever, ever wear that kit ever again. So yeah, that was the last time I wore a United kit at the City training ground. But yeah, luckily I got signed, and then I played with them from under 13s to under 16s, and then from there I went to Stoke at under 16s, and then that's where I met you, Darius. So yeah, that's me.
Well, talk to us about time at Stoke. What happened? You said you didn't play as much football as you'd have liked whilst there, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably an accurate assessment of your time there. You spent a lot of time in the room. What was that like? What was it like dealing with the setbacks and the injuries?
I mean, can't lie, the physio room was pretty fun.
It is fancy.
It is, like, it's probably the best part of it. You what?
Yours must have been different 2 hours then, because all we had was one bed, the physio, just literally the physio room, one bed, and then that was it. And that was me for the first year. That was my room. That was. Where
was you?
I was at Shrewsbury.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah. So was at Wolves till 16, then got released and went to Shrewsbury.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd say it probably was fun purely because, coincidentally, me and the lads I was closest to all ended up in the physio room at the same time. We were all injury prone, so but yeah, initially when I signed for Stoke, got off to the best start ever. I would have said I was playing the best I've ever played at that point. From age of 15 in the under 16s,
again,
scoring goals all the time.
Why do you think that was? Is that Jack?
I think I kind of. I mean, well, yeah, I was playing with Darius, which kind of helps. But I just kind of felt at that point, I just felt the pressure was kind of lifted off me when I was released from City. I think when I was at City, I was too scared to make a mistake. I was way too scared to make a mistake, so I kind of just played. You what?
Pretty elite, isn't it, City? Like,
hello. At the time, there was a lot of talk about City because that's when the guys took over from Abu Dhabi. So they were obviously going through a shift and bringing in players from everywhere. But yeah, I felt mentally I was struggling to cope. I think I felt a lot of pressure and I was playing it really safe. But yeah, when I was released, I kind of just thought, well, I'm just going to play for me now and kind of just play with freedom. And that's what I did when I went to Stoke. And I think it definitely shone in the way I was playing.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things, isn't it? Playing with freedom, playing with no pressure, especially if you're a creative player. So I remember when I was playing, I was probably not your typical centre half from Stoke. Do you see me playing? I'll literally do anything not to kick the ball away.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So being like
a modern day centre back.
Yeah, having the pressure off, just feeling like you can do whatever you want is probably the best way. That's the best mindset that I've ever been in when I played the best. And it's probably the same.
100%. 100%. It's all mindset.
Yeah.
And confidence. It plays such a huge factor in it. It's mad.
Do you think, like, what changed? Like, what was different in the environments? What was different from City and Stoke? Like, and do you think that changed when you went full time?
I'd say difference in Stoke and City. When I was at City, there was obviously, like I said, there was a lot of money involved. People were getting bought from teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid. And it was just a different world. Like, for example, when I left, they replaced me at the time with a striker they bought, I think, for about 3 mil. He was like 15, 16 from Real Madrid. So yeah, that's kind of the difference. Obviously, when I was at City, I was looking up to players there were so many internationals playing for England, Spain, like loads of different countries, Portugal. The standard was just so high, and it felt like it was a lot more serious. I mean, obviously it works because they're in the position they are now. But yeah, when I went to Stoke, it seemed like more of a friendly kind of environment, like a family type of feel to it. That's probably where I felt a lot less pressure, to be honest. Yeah, I just felt comfortable. I mean, to be honest, looking back, I probably thought I was better than everyone else coming from like a team like City.
Yeah,
I just thought, oh, I'm better than these lot, and I think it did show in how I was playing.
Yeah,
I felt so confident that I was much better than a lot of the players around me. It kind of definitely shown in how I was playing.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that's kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah, that's a big thing in it about. So like your ego. So like obviously from Wolves to Shrewsbury is similar. Go from being Wolves, we were decent, and then going to Shrewsbury, and it's completely different change. And even though when you go from being released at 18, you go into play having non-league, or I went to America, and you think, what am I doing here? I'm better than these. But it's such a different culture, and it's so hard. So like obviously going from 18, playing against 16, 17, 18-year-olds, completely different going to play men's football. And I don't think
you don't realise it at the time,
the steps at the time until they actually. It's probably too late.
It's mental. It's madness, and the way that the coaches tell you, like 5% of you lot are gonna make it. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, what do you know? Obviously, obviously, me and all my mates are gonna make it. Simple as that.
Yeah. I think one of the best stats is I don't know what the percentage is, that by the age of like 22 or 23, that the majority of players are not going to be playing football anymore.
Yeah, it's scary stats. It's mad.
Yeah,
And that's like,
and it could be for many different reasons.
Yeah.
That is mad. Right. So we've covered football. We talked about you dealing with obviously with your injuries, and you felt like being around your friends helped you through that.
Yeah.
Coming towards the end of your sort of pursuit of a career, so you came away from Stoke at 19. Was it after your pro?
19, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 years. So
how long? So what was that transition like coming out of full-time football? Did you trial? Did you just go straight into work? What did you do? What did that look like?
So I was injured at the time.
When you got released?
Yeah. Well, I spent the whole of my last season injured, but I was advised to play through it. I was given anti-inflammatories and painkillers, and I like that throughout the whole kind of. I remember my week was I wouldn't kind of touch unless I was really, really struggling. I wouldn't touch any anti-inflammatories from Monday to Friday. And then Friday night, I'd have maybe one anti-inflammatory. The morning, I would have one. And then, for example, my last game that I played, I took 3 anti-inflammatories before the game and 2 paracetamols right before the game. So that's like at the age of 19 taking.
It's just bad habits, isn't it?
It's just not right.
No.
I know at the time, obviously, I'm going to listen to the advice that I'm being told. So I mean, you feel like you're in good hands. You think everyone's kind of got their best interest at heart for you. But at the end of the day, I guess the physios would have been under pressure to put me out and make me play, and that's just, it's a business at the end of the day. Like, really, when I got it was a reoccurring injury. It was a chronic injury. A patellar tendonitis in my knees. I got that in the last, maybe halfway through, not the last season, the season before that. I got it. It just feels like a niggle. I don't know if either of you have ever had it.
Tendonitis.
No, all I had was osgood-schlitis. Growing up, which is similar kind of, because they thought I had, and I remember it was just like, I remember when I was at Wolves, so we played, I remember training all week on the 3G thinking, feeling good this week. First time this week, I'm feeling good. Trained the whole sessions, feeling good. I remember getting to Wolves, we were playing under 16s. I was 15, so playing a year up against Sunderland, starting. I'm thinking, I feel good today. I'm going to be all right. Yeah. Finding the warm-up. Ball was from kickoff, went from their kickoff straight to their centre half, pumped up the field, went up for an header, and my knee just gave way, and I was in agony. And then
how old was you then?
15, 14.
Yeah,
15 I would have been, or maybe 14. And I went up for the header in agony. Come on, put all the icing on, nothing they could do, just ice it and all that kind of stuff. 2 hours later, I was fine.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So patellar tendonitis, I had osgood's as well. And at the time, I thought that's as bad as it gets, really, for like an injury that you kind of have to manage and just kind of deal with and get through it.
That's the only thing you can do with it is deal with it. There's no like there's a cure. I remember just being told just stretch and ice.
It's just growing, isn't it?
Yeah,
really. It's kind of just growing pains, but yeah. So patellar tendonitis is a bit different. It's inflammation around the tendons. In particular for me, my patellar tendons in both my knees. So it kind of, I think it's quite common in any sort of athlete that is predominant around like power movements. My game was sprinting, really. Like I was powerful, do you know what I mean? Like I was throwing people about and sprinting, and I think it kind of obviously come from that I think if you're a player where you're like a centre midfielder that's kind of box to box and you're not really accelerating too much, you're kind of just going at a steady pace, it probably won't get you. But another name for it is jumper's knee, so it kind of explains it there, like jumping. So yeah, I bet him 100% basketballers must get it a lot with obviously the ground that they train on and stuff. But yeah, I got it, I think, initially in pre-season, because it kind of happens as you rest and then go into, it's the transition of resting and then going into intense kind of training. Yeah, that's kind of where it comes from for me. But yeah, it was the most frustrating thing ever. Just some days I'd feel half decent, other days I wouldn't. I would obviously play games and I'd be full of anti-inflammatory, so I wouldn't quite feel it. But when the lads were off, I'd have to be in the next day, like icing, stretching, foam rolling, getting like obviously soft tissue work and stuff like that, and it's just not, mentally it was draining. I didn't know it at the time, but I would 100% would have been depressed. That's just not what you want, like as a teenager. So yeah, like from 19, when I come out of it, I had another go at kind of football. I was doing all my rehab. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get it sorted now. So from the minute that I was told I wasn't getting a new contract with Stoke, I was just like, I need to get this sorted. So I stopped playing games, stopped training, and just focused on being in the gym, doing all my exercises, making sure I was giving myself the best chance that I could to kind of keep my career going. And I remember I did maybe 2 weeks of that, 3 weeks of that. And I remember being in the canteen with the boys. I think it could have been lunchtime, I don't know. And I was pulled into the office by the academy manager. Obviously, mentally at that point, I was in a difficult position because I'd just been released. I was still obviously trying to get fit to keep my career going, and yeah, I needed as much support as possible really at that point. So I was called into the office by the academy manager, and he just bollocked me, just went in. He was like, you fucking think you can just stroll around and get paid and don't play any games and all this? And I'm like, are you all right? Like, are you for real? And I think at that point, that was a big moment for me, really. Like, I was in tears. I didn't know what to say. I just broke down. I was trying to be strong every day mentally to get through it and push. And for him to say that, I was just like, it just broke me. So yeah, I was in tears. I was there with the academy manager and the under-21s coach at the time, in tears, fully broke down. And I mean, after that, he was like, "Oh, you know, you can speak to us, and you know." I'm like, wait a minute, what? You can't say that. You just literally went in on me, like, and all I'm trying to do is help my body and get fit and make sure I can continue on my journey to be a professional footballer. And I mean, he made it out like he didn't know that I was injured. He might not have known, and if he didn't know, then that's the physio's fault for not keeping them up to date. But yeah, that there killed me, and that was kind of when I think the beginning of me falling out of love with football. So from that, I tried to get fit. I was no longer training at the club or doing my rehab or anything. I was doing my rehab on my own at that point at a local gym near where I live. Every day, twice a day in the gym by myself. Yeah, doing that for a year or so, year and a half. And then I got the opportunity to start a career in what I'm doing now, which is modeling. So yeah, I started that, and I kind of realized that there's a complete other side to life.
Yeah.
At that point, all I knew was football. That's all I'd ever done.
Yeah.
That's all I thought I'd ever do. Obviously, that you have to feel, you kind of have to have that mentality. Or you're made to think that you have to have that mentality to have a chance of being a professional footballer, which I don't think's right. Because I feel that only adds more pressure. But yeah,
a lot of the stuff I study and we're trying to implement at Stoke is like just that whole concept of identity, and like I don't think you look at different cultures in different countries, and you can see their sort of cultural influences on the way that they play. But in England, it's just like you're a footballer and nothing else, and
nothing else.
There's no other influence to it. Do you think if you'd have had the opportunity to explore different avenues, if I don't know, if it was music or like modeling, like you would, if you'd have been encouraged to explore those things, do you think that would have had a better impact?
100%.
Playing career.
Definitely. I feel like kids should be first and foremost be encouraged to have as much fun as possible. I know it's obviously naturally gonna change if it becomes your job.
Yeah.
Because it is more serious. Like it's a job than it is a business. Do you know what I mean? Like you do have to perform and you've got to work hard and stuff. But there's no reason why you can't still have fun.
No. I think that that's an important part to being good at your job, is loving what you do and being in an environment that you can be comfortable in like that. Otherwise, I feel like it can have a negative effect on your performance.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's funny because the players that I've played with in the past, I'd probably say the better ones are the ones that didn't take it that seriously, or even more so, they didn't even like football, but they were just really good at it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they don't have that added pressure of like the whole passion and the love for it, and it meaning the absolute world to them, and it's their whole life. Because those players probably out of football did different things. Do you know what I mean? Like they took the time out and focused on other bits, and when they did play football, they just seen it as just like I don't know, just they were good at it. Do you know what I mean? It's not really a big deal. They're just so yeah, definitely encourage youngsters to continue to, if they have passions in different things that maybe doesn't involve football at all, then definitely don't just give it up. I was so active as a young lad, like doing all sorts of different stuff. I was like into art and played basketball. Like in school, I played more basketball than football.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted that break. Obviously, I enjoyed football and stuff, but at that point, I was already at an academy. I didn't want to be training and then playing at lunchtime with the lads and all that. So yeah, 100%. I think I would have probably played much better if I took the time out to look at different things and passions and stuff. Like, I mean, the coaches, I remember, I don't know if you remember, like, if you didn't watch a game like that was on the night before, you'd be getting quizzed on it all training session. Like,
I'm never been
if you watched it, and
I'm still like that now. I don't like watching football, and if I do, it's just like the elite sort of top end stuff, or if I'm at a game, I get that, the atmosphere. But like football trivia and stuff like that, it's just I've never been like that. And then the next day in training, they're referencing it, and you're just like, fuck. You just it's that pressure of sort of staying on top of it, and just that constant football.
It's made to be like 24/7, no rest, no nothing. I couldn't sleep at night. Like the night before games, I couldn't sleep. I think I struggled massively with like anxiety and stuff, but obviously at the time I didn't realize. And you would have been, if I would have said anything to anyone, I probably would have just been told to man up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that in the environment. I mean, I know you were in digs, weren't you?
Yeah.
We basically, when we were scholars, like literally 18 lads lived together in these like block of apartments.
Just some scraps.
So I bet that was mad.
It was nuts, mate. So you got 18 lads, all football. It's just never separated from the minute whenever we went to pre-season, say July, all the way to May, and then you'd have a month off. But for those 9, 8 months, however long it was, 10 months, just never separated, and all it was football. And a lot of the lads, like you two said, wanted to get away from it, but you can't get away from it. You're not allowed to go anywhere. You have to stay on this. It's basically, we lived on a farm base. Is the best way to put it.
Really?
Not allowed to go into the town. Can't do anything. Like you guys weren't allowed to share cars. We weren't allowed to ask permission to go to places.
Oh mate, it's madness.
It's
the restrictions that are put on it. I think looking back now, it's actually mad. I remember when Kurt got a new car at 17.
Yeah, he was always in it.
And when he got his car at 17, and then obviously he wanted to drive into training.
Yeah.
Because you're an excited 17-year-old kid. You're not trying to be big time. No. You just want to drive your car because you're legally allowed to drive.
Yeah.
What's the point in sitting around waiting for a bus when you can hop in your car and just go to training? And he got a bollocking, didn't he? He wasn't allowed to. No. Wasn't allowed to drive in again.
No,
this doesn't make any sense. There's no need. Are you up?
I remember they pulled us all, me and Cookie, and said that we weren't allowed to go in it, like because we weren't covered by insurance and whatever. They were just
like the insurance. What do you mean? Like, there's already enough things you can't do as a teenager. Can you not just drive around in the car for a bit?
Tacos.
Like it's not really much to ask for, is it?
My biggest thing was that we used to go to training. If we didn't train on where we live, we sometimes trained at a separate training ground, or we used to go to the hills and run up the hills.
Wow.
Not to where we were, but if we got in the minibus when we could drive, basically 18 lads in a minibus that's a 17 or 18 seater, so we can't fit in anyway. So we pretty much, I think everyone had a seat each possibly. But then you've got your bulls, you've got the mannequins, you've got your cone bags, you've got all the bags. Yeah. You can't fit. I'm 6'4" and I can't even fit in the seats anyway. And it's not
a big lad.
And it's not the same because there's a few of us that was probably not as tall as me, but big lads. You can't fit, and it just wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
It's just that whole like control culture, isn't it? They just don't want trying to keep everyone sort of regimented. It's a strange environment.
I get it. Yeah. To a certain extent, like, because if you are lucky enough to make it, you're gonna get criticized every single day probably at a much more intense level. You're getting criticized by the media, getting criticized by the fans every time you step out onto the pitch. You do have to have some sort of preparation for that. Yeah. And maybe that's what it was, but I don't know. I feel like there's probably different ways of doing it. There's definitely different ways of doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms, I feel like I've started getting into meditation and stuff like that, and I feel like that would have helped me massively. Yeah. And that's the way you can definitely deal with negativity.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's hard because like it's almost like you're not in on the conversation, and that's like me and Waz at Stoke. Like I've been talking to some like mindfulness consultants, and we're trying to implement that next year. Like different mindfulness techniques for them and get them in on the conversation. And it's almost like, not, instead of treating them like commodities, just like saying, look, you are going to get these challenges, but instead of us trying to replicate them without having you in on the conversation, just sort of tell them what to expect and how to deal with it.
Yeah, you've got actually, there's ways of learning how to deal with negativity. And I don't feel, I think in their heads, maybe they were thinking, right, if we just bombard them with negativity every day, they'll eventually get used to it.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt them then. But that's not really how it works. Do you know what I mean? As a teenager, it might work for some, obviously, but that's where, like, obviously man management comes into it, where you've got to learn your players. And even at a young age, everyone has a different upbringing, so everyone's going to be different.
Yeah, massively. So yeah, just again shifting away from football slightly, trying to talk a little bit about your new career now. We talked about identity and sort of coming out of that whole process and not knowing what you were passionate about, not having a lot of opportunities to do that whilst playing. What was it like? I sort of describe it as starting over again, because like you said, it's everything. It's everything. Your whole skill set is built around this. So, like, what did you take from football into your career? Like,
I mean, as bad as obviously it sounds, what we've been talking about and stuff, I think that experience that I had, obviously being so difficult and the amount of pressure that was on me and stuff, like going into modeling was a walk in the park completely.
Because
it felt like the easiest job in the world.
Yeah, because you're just used to being scrutinized, aren't you? Because of that modeling, you're basically just there, and you're just like,
yeah. I mean, you're self-employed, so it's, if I don't want to work for a month, I mean, at this point now, I could, do you know what I mean? I could potentially say that I want to go away for a month. It's completely up to you. Like, you put in as much as you want to put in, and obviously for me at the start, I was available all the time. Like, I wasn't, other than me doing my rehab, I wasn't. Initially, I wasn't working. Eventually, I was. I started working at Hollister.
I think
yeah.
Who was that?
Typical. Yeah, I started working at Hollister, which, I mean, I didn't enjoy it obviously at all. In my head, I was meant to be a professional footballer, and then I was working retail.
Was that in like the Trafford Centre or something like that?
Yeah, Trafford Centre. Yeah.
So I remember, coming back from America and just working in a pub.
Mad, isn't it?
Like, and you know what the funny thing was? So obviously we've used, like you said, we've been used to being scrutinised, like shouted at, having fights with the teammates, like pinned up against the wall by your coaches. It might not have happened.
Oh, mate.
Guys.
I mean, not to me, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah, some of the things we've seen or heard or done, and then you go to work in a pub, and especially in Stoke, you get some characters in there, and there's some of them idiots. But I was like, this is just a walk in the park compared, like, mentally.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Mentally, I was like, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here, but I am. But don't really have to do much. I'm not thinking about much. Not thinking about how I'm going to perform. It's just serve someone a drink.
Yeah,
it is 100% like you're starting again, innit?
Yeah, it is mad.
It's just a fresh start, especially if you do end up going into something that's completely different, like I did. It's madness. I felt so free. Felt like literally fresh start, free to kind of. I was going out and stuff, probably more than probably should have done.
That is that freedom, though, isn't it? You're able to go.
Like I can do that.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, like I was 19. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I was going out just as much as the most 19-year-olds do, and I was loving it. I started like promoting a nightclub, and events and stuff. instead of working at Hollister, and that kind of obviously would have. It was for just a bit of money, just a bit of extra change. Do you know what I mean? Just because modeling at the time wasn't very consistent for me, I needed something to kind of just give me a bit of money to live on, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started doing that, and I loved it. Like, it was nice to be out socializing with different people, like on the nights. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be in positions where I'd have to speak to people that I don't know. And with football, you don't really get that. Like, you're with the same group of lads every day.
Yeah.
And you go home and you're still with those lads. So you're not really socializing too much, and you're not really allowed to go out. I mean, by under 21s, our coach said if you want to have a drink, you can have a drink, but obviously it's up to you if you want it to ruin your career.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. That's probably the best thing anyone ever told me.
Yeah.
Like, because that does take that. It does give you a bit of freedom, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're told you're not allowed to drink, you're not allowed to go out, the natural reaction is obviously going to be you want to go out, you want to experience it, and you're probably more likely to take it too far. But yeah, like, yeah, getting into promoting, loved it. That kind of gave me a little insight onto what it's like to be put in positions where you have to socialize with people you don't know. And with modeling, obviously, I have to do that. Like, I'm working with people, new people every day. Like, I don't know. I have to. At this point now, I'm at a different level to what I was originally when I first started. But now I'm kind of. I can find it's so comfortable for me to get on a flight to go to Germany,
Meet some
on a
strangers.
Thursday night, wake up, walk to work, meet a complete team of strangers that might not even speak English, and then just make a little conversation throughout the day, have fun with it, and just have a good day, really. Like, it's comfortable for me to do that now at this point.
Yeah.
I think when I was first obviously went into it, I found it so difficult because I was just so, like, probably quite socially awkward.
Yeah.
And,
I
like,
feel like
yeah.
I find it very hard to go into new groups. I'm just so used to if I'm in a group and I know them, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't really like being in
Yeah.
big groups. I'm not going to talk in big groups.
Yeah.
But
I'm similar to that. I'm similar to that now. I don't. It's not even a bad thing, really. It's like,
Wow, isn't it?
you don't want to be the loudest person in the room. That's not an issue, is it? Like, that's how I think about it now. I always thought, especially going into, like, now I'm modeling, like, for ASOS, and that was a big deal for me getting that job. And it's such a big kind of building. There's so many people. It is very overwhelming. Huge characters. It's in London. Very, like, eccentric people work there, and I just feel like I'm just like a normal lad. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not the loudest person in the world. I can be if I'm around my close friends. I can be stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's building people you trust as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you'll feel. What was I seen it somewhere? Basically, like, obviously, when you're at your calmest point and you're around the people that you're most comfortable with, generally in life you might not be an extrovert, but you might be when you are with, like, your close friends. Yeah. But a lot of these people were extroverts 24/7, whether they met you before or not.
Yeah.
So it was a big, like, it was massive kind of thing for me to kind of deal with that, and I was getting anxious about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just not necessarily the modeling, because I know I can do that. I can do that anywhere. I feel so comfortable doing that now, but just like the social side of it, where at lunchtime with the lads and stuff, and everyone's dead loud, and I'm sat there thinking, oh, do these think I'm like really boring? And like that's the one thing for me that I think even now I'd like to work on, just me being completely comfortable with me, and not thinking in my head, or do they think that I'm like really quiet and boring, and like do they think I'm just a pretty face, I've got no personality, and all that. Like those things go through my head sometimes, and I'm getting better every day. And I think being kind of thrown into a big company like ASOS definitely helped with that. And now I am really comfortable with the lads. You know what I mean? And I'm still not the loudest person, but I'd like to think they enjoy my company. And do you know what I mean? Like but I don't really feel that pressure anymore. I think I've just kind of got used to it. But yeah, there's massive difference from football to modelling.
Yeah, I was reading. Well, obviously, loads of free time, so
yeah,
there's lots to do. But I'm reading books, reading Ian Wright's at the moment. But I've finished Freddie Flintoff. You both know who Freddie Flintoff is, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So like the way his persona on TV when he plays cricket, he's this character. Obviously, gets drunk when he goes to 10 Downing Street once they've won the Ashes.
Yeah.
And you judge him because of the way he is on the TV and when he played a sport. And I was reading his book and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, he's a lot like the way I am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see myself doing what he does. And then obviously what you've just said, and Darius is similar, I think, to what both of us are like. And he basically he was explaining social environments that he only has one friend, not the people that are on TV. So like James Corden, Jack Whitehall, who he's on TV with all the time. You feel like they're his friends, but he's not really. He's friends with them, but they're not like close friends. But he has this one close friend, and so when he hates weddings. So when he goes to weddings, obviously you get put in boy girl, sitting by people you might not know. And he was saying he just gets there. Earliest he can, and he swaps all the table around so he doesn't have to sit by anyone he doesn't know, because he doesn't want to talk to people that he doesn't know. And I was laughing because that's exactly what I'm like. If I'm in a situation where I don't know someone, I'm looking for the nearest exit route to the closest person that I can sit to, and how the hell can I get out of this situation?
100%. I've been in positions before where I'll not necessarily like bump into someone, but I'll see someone I even people that I know of, like I know them, I've spoke to them a couple of times, but they're not close to me. I'll see them about and I will avoid them.
Yeah.
I do get that.
I'll fully avoid them because I don't want to. I sometimes it'll make me kind of feel uncomfortable and to be put in a position where I have to speak to them and make conversation
that small talk and being uncomfortable that I don't really want to talk to. Not because you don't like them, just because I don't feel comfortable.
It's not even it's not actually an issue kind of being someone who doesn't want to contribute in small talk. Do you know what I mean? It's
I get that.
Sometimes it can be pointless. Like, do you really care what they're saying, or are you just speaking because you don't want to feel uncomfortable?
People just want to know, don't they? Some people are just like nosy. I'm not that. I can't play up to it. If I can just, I feel like I always say when I hate going out in my hometown because it's just I feel like I've got to take a fucking CD with me. It's like everyone's asking this and asking that, and I'm like, yeah, but are you bothered though? Are you really bothered? And if you were, you'd probably already know the answer to all of this shit anyway. Do you know what I mean? It is, Matt. It is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just. I don't. It comes over as rude sometimes, but I'm not being rude. I just. I don't feel comfortable in certain environments. It's like, I'll be honest. So like, when Dee first mentioned the podcast, I was like, I hate talking about myself, talking about people. I said yes straight away because it was Dee.
Yeah.
But in my head, like every time we do a podcast, I'm like, I don't really want to do it, but I'm trying to get
it's throwing yourself in positions where you don't feel comfortable is the only way to progress in life, really. Like I recently, obviously we're in lockdown and stuff. I've been going like live on my Instagram, and obviously like I've built up a decent following.
Do you want to plug your Instagram now?
Yeah, go on then. So Curly Fries Feed is my Instagram. There it is.
I think all of ours are bots. All of our followers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, mate.
Well, so obviously that's the thing. Like, I've built a following, which is amazing. I've worked hard to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, not in a rude way, but sometimes you forget they're actual real humans. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not just numbers. They're real people. And like, I can post a picture and get a load of likes and comments and stuff, and I will reply to comments and stuff like that. But like, live is completely different. If I'm live,
see people.
People are popping up I know that a lot of people. I know people are looking at me, and it's that same anxiety that I've got, where I'm like, oh well, people think of someone who's got followers, they'll think that they'll entertain you non-stop, and I'm not that person that's gonna be like really loud and, do you know what I mean? So in my head, I'm going on live, and it's like people are taking time out of their day to join my live, and they want to see what I'm like and stuff, and I'm thinking, what if they think I'm boring? Like, they might be watching, but they're obviously going to think that I'm boring because I'm not like telling. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm just here, just in my room. But yeah, that's that of being comfortable with yourself and stuff like, and not really caring what other people think. That is the main thing, I think. Like, getting to a point where you do have that self-love and you don't care what people think of you, and like, even the good at times, do you know what I mean, you kind of just let it go by. You can appreciate it, do you know what I mean? You appreciate when someone's being nice to you and everything, but I think it's obviously all starts from you loving yourself. But yeah, so I've done live now. I've done it a couple of times, and now I feel comfortable doing it. I can do it now. I don't get that anxiety and nervousness before it. It just, I can just do it. I feel comfortable now, and I wanna. That's the name for me. Like, going into, I mean, being in isolation is to interact with my followers as much as I can, and it's so good to actually speak to them and get their views on certain things, and just build like a little community. Do you know what I mean? And if I can help them, people will message me and they'll say like, oh, I'm inspired by you and stuff like this, but they don't 100% know what I'm doing day to day. But if I have done something that inspires them or helps them in any way, then that's amazing. Like, there's no better feeling than helping someone.
Yeah,
I mean, especially when you're being yourself.
That's it. That's it, isn't it? What a good note. I think that's a good note to end on. That was.
I mean, it's been long enough, hasn't it? I've been talking shite for a while.
Good.
I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed that one.
I've not done a podcast before.
There you go, mate. Well, you're our first guest as well. We've
had a bit of a different way of doing it, but it's good.
Yeah. You do what you can, don't you, when all this is going on? But I can't wait to share it, because it's obviously people will be interested in it.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so, 100%. I loved it. It was good. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Warren.
And you, Nathan.
I hope we weren't too uncomfortable around each other.
I felt it at the start, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. I was like, oh no.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
We've got another 2 Zoom meetings this afternoon, D.
Oh, have you?
Not long.
Yeah.
What, like, what podcast? Same thing?
No,
Oh,
coach.
something else.
Yeah.
All right. So do you two coach together then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, we've got some good girls coming through, hopefully.
Love that.
Lionesses.
Yeah.
All right, then. We'll wrap it up. I'm going to figure out how to extract all this video and audio and stuff.
I mean, I really hope that I've done everything on my end so that, because basically, I was thinking before. So basically, when I use these headphones when I'm playing like PS4 or whatever, I can hear everything, but they can't hear me. They can't hear me.
Right, no.
They do have a mic on them because I can take phone calls and obviously do this, but I'm hoping that you can.
I think on the PlayStation it's different because I've been smashing FIFA the past couple of days, and none of my headphones work on it.
Right.
So
I haven't got a headset. Is it worth getting? I've only got 2 friends on PS. That's sad, isn't it?
Oh, say that again.
Is it worth getting a headset?
Well, I mean, I
in that though. You
can just use like those earphones there that you've got, Warren. I swear you can use them to.
Yeah, I think you can plug them into. Yeah, but
you put them into your controller.
Yeah, but I don't really. To be honest, I don't play anyone. I kind of just sit there on my own playing.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Call of Duty.
I'm on.
You've got to have mates. Do you know what I mean? To be using a headset. It's one of them.
Helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
But,
cool. This has been
Thanks for having me.
Kick It podcast with Nathan Hopkinson. Curly Fries. Plugged it before on Instagram, so make sure you get over there. Follow your little bots on our Instagram feed. Make sure it's been fun, been good. Stay safe, lads.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
All right, boys. Catch you up later.
All right.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Thank you.